A young garment presser at a high-end fashion atelier shows kindness to an elderly couple struggling with modern technology, unaware they are his idol's parents. This act of compassion leads to an unexpected encounter with the renowned designer, who reciprocates by helping the young man during a family crisis. The story illustrates how a simple act of kindness can lead to life-changing opportunities, emphasizing the power of empathy and the ripple effect of compassionate actions.
Hello, my friends. I am Mimi, and this is Inspiring Stories by Mimi. I hope you enjoy this story.
The constant hum of sewing machines and the mingling sense of fabric and steam filled the air, forming the daily backdrop for Lucas, a 17-year-old who had recently started working as a garment presser at the high-end fashion atelier. Lucas, with his work smock slightly oversized for his lanky frame, was always in motion, darting back and forth with a dexterity that belied his stature. During particularly hectic periods, he strived to maintain pace with the frenetic rhythm of the workshop. Pressing garments with remarkable speed while maintaining a cheerful demeanor even as the pressure mounted, the atelier, renowned for its sophisticated ambience and discerning clientele, housed a workshop that served as its beating heart. Perpetually abuzz with activity, Lucas, donning protective gloves and his smock, was stationed at the pressing area, a space often unseen by customers yet vital to the atelier's smooth operation. That evening, the boutique was uncharacteristically quiet. The elegantly arranged displays and soft lighting created an atmosphere of refinement, while the polished hardwood floor reflected the glow of the pendant lights. The chic environment seemed welcoming, but Margaret and Henry, both in their mid-60s, felt somewhat out of place as they entered. The receptionist, a young woman with a professional smile, glanced up from her tablet as she noticed the couple's arrival. "Good evening, welcome. Do you have an appointment?" she inquired in a polite but impersonal tone. Margaret, slightly flustered, replied, "No, we weren't aware an appointment was necessary. We just came to browse this evening." The receptionist sighed subtly, visibly impatient. "Ah, I see. This atelier is quite exclusive, so we prefer clients to schedule appointments in advance. Even now, we're quite busy with fittings." Henry attempted a cordial smile. "But the boutique looks so empty. Isn't there someone available to assist us?" "We're just looking for a quick consultation." The receptionist surveyed the room and, after a few moments, raised her head with a forced smile. "Well, we have a consultant available in the back near the alterations area." "It's the only option at present," Margaret, slightly disappointed, responded. "If that's what's available, that will do." The receptionist gestured for them to follow her through the boutique. They walked past elegantly dressed mannequins until they reached a consultation area situated in the farthest corner, near the door leading to the workshop. The area, though well appointed, was somewhat isolated, and the constant sound of the workshop could be heard clearly. Henry quietly commented to Margaret, "It seems they're placing us far from everything. Did you notice all the other consultation areas are closer to the entrance?" Margaret whispered back, "Yes, I noticed. It must be just a coincidence. Let's sit and enjoy the experience." As they settled in, a young consultant hurried by, carrying an armful of designer garments. He glanced at the couple with a look of disdain but said nothing. Lucas, who was in the workshop, observed with growing discomfort. It was difficult to ignore the impersonal and even rude treatment the couple was receiving. Lucas was in the workshop, busy with a pile of garments needing pressing, but his attention was drawn to the events unfolding in the boutique. Through the gap in the door separating the workshop from the sales floor, he could see Margaret and Henry struggling to get comfortable. The conversation of his co-workers occasionally reached him, painting an even more uncomfortable picture. "Ah, another older couple. I can't stand assisting this type of client. We have to help them with everything as if we were caregivers," muttered one of the consultants, shaking his head. "They probably saved for months to shop here. They likely don't even understand our virtual catalog, and I bet the commission will be negligible." The comment was followed by a sarcastic laugh. Lucas frowned upon hearing these words, feeling a wave of unease. He knew that the modern atelier didn't have physical catalogs, everything was done through a tablet app. However, seeing the couple being treated with such disdain deeply bothered him. At that moment, the young consultant who seemed particularly impatient approached the couple with an impersonal tone. He thrust a tablet with the digital catalog towards Margaret and Henry with a brusque gesture. "That's all we have. The catalog is virtual, so you need to use the tablet to browse styles," said the consultant, his tone leaving no doubt about his impatience. Margaret, struggling with the tablet, tried to understand how the system worked. "I'm sorry, but we're not very familiar with this technology. Could you help us navigate the catalog?" The consultant, clearly irritated, responded with a sigh, "I have other clients to attend to." "Do your best." Lucas, observing the scene with growing discomfort, felt a pang of indignation at the expression of frustration and confusion on the elderly couple's faces. He noticed how Margaret and Henry, despite their attempts to adapt to the modern boutique environment, were clearly lost and troubled. The consultant's impassive stance and impersonal treatment only accentuated the couple's discomfort as they desperately tried to understand the digital catalog. Trying to change the situation, the young man approached some of his co-workers, seeking to convince them to be more respectful. "Guys, did you see how they're struggling? Let's help them. It won't cost us anything," he pleaded. However, the response was a mixture of disdain and mockery. "Oh, here he comes with his hero mentality," one of the consultants murmured with a sarcastic smile. Lucas knew that if he didn't intervene, the couple would continue to be treated disrespectfully. Smoothing his smock, he decided to step in. He approached the consultation area with a smile, trying to lighten the mood. "Can I help with the catalog? It seems you're having difficulties." Margaret and Henry looked at Lucas with relief. "Oh yes, please. We're really struggling to understand how this works," said Margaret. Lucas sat next to them, looking at the tablet and patiently explaining how to use the app. While he did this, Margaret and Henry noticed the shirt of the famous fashion designer Lucas was wearing under his smock. Recognition and surprise were visible on their faces. "Are you a fan of the designer Jean-Luc?" Henry asked. Lucas smiled and confirmed, "Yes, I am. He's my favorite designer." Margaret, smiling with a twinkle in her eye, replied, "Well, we are his parents. Thank you very much for helping us." Lucas was surprised and a little embarrassed, but he continued to help the couple browse the catalog. That simple act of kindness was about to trigger a series of unexpected events that would change his life forever. The evening at the atelier continued, and despite the dismissive treatment Margaret and Henry had initially faced, they decided not to be disheartened. When their consultation came to an end, Margaret and Henry headed for the exit, passing through the glass door that offered a view of the workshop. Lucas, still busy pressing garments, saw the couple leaving and gave them one last glance. The elderly couple paused for a moment at the door and, with a gentle gesture, waved to Lucas. The next day, Margaret and Henry met with their son, the designer Jean-Luc, for breakfast. "Jean-Luc, last night we went to the atelier you recommended, but the service was a disaster. We were treated with so much disdain. However, there was a young garment presser in the workshop who helped us," said Margaret. Jean-Luc, curious, raised his eyebrows. "A young garment presser?" "Yes," confirmed Henry. "He noticed we were having trouble using the digital catalog and came to help us. He was a very kind young man, and we found out he's a big fan of yours." The designer, listening attentively, smiled upon hearing about the unexpected support Lucas had offered. "That's amazing. I'll make sure to thank him in a special way. I'll arrange for him to come to today's fashion show and watch from the VIP section. He'll definitely be very happy." Quickly, Jean-Luc made use of his contacts and managed to find the garment presser's address. A driver was sent to pick up the young man and take him to the venue where he would have the opportunity to watch the fashion show from the VIP section. A gesture of gratitude for his kindness and help to the parents, shortly after, the driver returned with a concerned look, revealing to Jean-Luc that Lucas was not at home. The neighbors said that Lucas's grandfather fell ill during the night and was taken to the hospital. They also said that Lucas was raised only by him. "They are very close. They take care of each other," the driver informed. Jean-Luc, touched by the situation and remembering his own experience of being raised by his parents, felt deep empathy for Lucas and an unexpected connection. He knew he needed to do more. He decided to go to the hospital in person. Upon arriving at the hospital, the designer was directed to the place where Lucas was waiting for news about his grandfather. The young man was visibly tired and worried about his grandfather's health. Jean-Luc approached with a warm smile and an understanding look. When he raised his eyes and saw Jean-Luc at the door, shock and surprise crossed Lucas's face. "Hi Lucas," Jean-Luc said in a gentle voice. "I hope your grandfather is doing better. I heard about the situation. I also came to personally thank you for the help you gave my parents yesterday at the atelier." Lucas, still in shock at the presence of his idol, swallowed hard and took a deep breath. "I didn't expect you to come here," he said, his voice hoarse with worry and exhaustion. "I helped because seeing your parents, I remembered my own grandfather. If he were in a similar situation, would want someone to do the same for him. I just acted as I would like others to act towards my grandfather." "Your attitude was incredible, Lucas. I was also raised by my parents, and I know well how important they are," Jean-Luc said. The designer looked at Lucas with a determined look. "Now it's my turn to give back. I want to help your grandfather and ensure he receives all the necessary medical care for a full recovery. I will cover all medical expenses and ensure that you don't have to worry about anything else." Lucas, with eyes shining with gratitude, couldn't believe Jean-Luc's generosity. You really don't have to do this," he said, his voice choked with emotion. "I just did what I thought was right," Jean-Luc smiled lightly, touching Lucas's shoulder. "But I want to do this, Lucas. You acted with kindness yesterday because you imagined your grandfather in that situation. Today, I do the same, imagining my parents in this situation. I'm here to ensure that you and your grandfather can focus on recovery and healing without worrying about anything else." Lucas's grandfather recovered from the scare with the best medical care generously provided by Jean-Luc. His recovery was quick and smooth, and the designer's kindness made a significant difference during this difficult period. However, Jean-Luc was not content with just helping with medical expenses. He wanted to do more for that small family, so he offered Lucas an apprenticeship opportunity at his fashion house. This new position allowed Lucas not only to develop professionally but also to contribute to the support of his household, bringing much-needed financial stability. With continuous support in the recovery of his grandfather, Lucas embarked on a new phase in his life, marked by hope and new possibilities. This story powerfully illustrates how empathy and kindness can have a profound and lasting impact. Lucas, by showing compassion to Jean-Luc's parents without expecting anything in return, planted a seed of kindness that came back to him in an extraordinary way. Moved by Lucas's situation and his act of kindness, Jean-Luc reciprocated with generosity, offering not just help but also a new opportunity for the young man.
If you enjoyed the story, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. Leave a comment with a number from 1 to 5 to let us know how much you liked the story. Also watch the video that is currently on your screen. See you soon.